Welcome to Books on Air, the podcast that tells the story behind the book. It includes insights from authors about how they compose their work, what inspires them, and what they hope you'll take away from their book. Here's your host for this episode of Books on Air, Suzanne Harris.
Welcome to the Books on Air podcast. I'm Sloan Fremont, filling in for Suzanne Harris. This is a podcast where listeners get the secret story behind every book. Joining me today is David Ellis, author of the book Naughty Nonsense, Lascivious, Limericks, and much more. This is a hilarious, politically incorrect book of verses poking fun at everything and everybody. So, David, I want to welcome you to the Books on Air podcast.
Thank you very much, Sloan. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so let's start out by telling the audience just a little bit about yourself and what led you to write your book.
Well, I'm now 82 years old. What got me to write it was the restrictions placed upon us during the COVID times. A lot of time at home. I'd written limericks before for various events. I collected them all together, spent a considerable time making a lot more of them, and decided I might as well put them into a book, plus a number of longer verse poems as well.
Yes. And so is a limerick the same as a poem, or is there a difference?
It's a specialized little poem of five lines, with the first two lines and the fifth line rhyming, and the middle and the third and fourth rhyming. So I could give you a very quick example if you wanted.
Sure. Let's hear it.
A sex-hungry farm girl named Kay would take a new lover each day. When they said, "You're a sinner," she replied, "No, a winner, every time I leap in the hay." So.
Yes. So the topics of your, as I said in the beginning, your book is basically pokes fun at everything and everybody. So is there specific themes that you cover in general, or do you really just have different limericks on a variety of topics?
Well, in the limericks, I do have quite a few selections. For instance, first section, the longest, is on sex. Then there's alcohol, various vices, food, music, and other arts, sports, oddities, politics. So it covers quite a gamut of
basically
subjects.
All the things that people are interested in.
Yes, yes.
And so poking fun at everyone and everything, talk about that a little bit, about why your limericks poke fun. Is that your general nature? Do you joke around a lot, or what led you to do that?
Well, the first time I really put together a group was I was studying recreation and going towards diploma, and we had a camp and we had to produce a magazine at the end. So I thought my contribution would be to write limericks about a number of the other students at the camp. So this set me off. I did the same with a music group. I did the same with a chess group, and they were the basis of starting this book. So.
Yes, and so tell us also about, with your limericks, about the accompanying images that you have, the drawings. I can see them in your background there, in your photos.
Yes.
Curious about that.
I advertised for an illustrator, and through contact, I got through to this young illustrator in the United States, called Rosie DeWoo. She's a professional. She came originally, I think, from Australia, and I was very, very glad of her work, and appreciated that she really helped to make these poems stand out.
Yeah. So can you read a couple more of the limericks for us so we can get some examples of your work?
Yes, I'd be glad to. perhaps a longer one I can get in. Now, there's always humour in anything, even in the most serious subjects. And obviously, COVID has been worrying people throughout the world. But here's this one called The Old Man and the Vaccine. Our vaccines are successful, proclaims each COVID lab. So I go and see my doctor to ask about a jab. He seeks to reassure me and put me at my ease. He says he'll answer questions about this feared disease. The first question that I ask him, are there side effects that leave a patient suffering with severe defects? I'm glad you've asked that question and got it off your chest. You really have no worries. These vaccines are the best. Now, my wife is nearly 80 and I'm 83. There's a personal question concerning her and me. Now, I hope this second question will not you perplex. Once I've had the vaccine, can she and I have sex? No worries, says the doctor. I can put your mind at rest. Your sex life will be normal. Just put it to the test. So happy with this answer to my second question, I then roll up my sleeve with no more hesitation. The news is so exciting, it fills me with delight. I'll tell my anxious partner, and we'll enjoy tonight. Though it still is hard to credit, for, by my estimation, it's now been nearly 15 years since my last erection.
Oh boy. Well, and I mean, I'm listening to you read these and I'm thinking, wow, how much, like, how good with words you have to be able to tell a story like that and it fits that criteria to rhyme. Like, that must be really tough. Can you tell us about that?
I've not really found the producing of the verses difficult. It just seems to come to me, and you're searching for rhymes to particular words, and then you fit the other words around your basis of. So yes, it's not. I didn't find it too difficult.
It seems like it would be hard to me, and I can feel as you're reading the words, the cadence to the words, how there's a cadence that you can feel that as you're reading.
That's important, yes, certainly the cadence, yes, and the rhythm and of the verse, yes.
Yeah. What's one of your favorite parts from your book? Maybe one of your favorite limericks, or even an illustration that's one of your favorites.
Right. Well, as I say, I've got one on. Let's see. Here's one on alcohol. A social young lady named Jenny was forever spending a penny. The reason is clear. She loves to drink beer, and it's not just a few. No, it's many. And then here's one I quite like too. Je suis sexy, said dashing Pierre. See how chic are the clothes that I wear. He then flounced down the street, but tripped over his feet and suffered a bruised derriere. I do have a French son-in-law.
I bet you had a lot of fun writing this. I can tell, like, just the enjoyment from it, and your, when you're retelling it.
Yes.
Did anything surprise you when you were writing your book and putting your limericks together?
Surprise. Let's see. It's hard to think. I suppose more surprised by really how the verses came to me without really. Yes, I mean, they talk about composers comparing Mozart to Beethoven, the way Mozart would produce almost a perfect score from the beginning, and Beethoven would cross things out and change them and keep changing them. Right. And I think I was lucky in this respect. They seem to come to me, yes.
Yeah, that's so interesting to me because I was always a numbers person and not really a writer. And so when anybody, you know, writing is always very interesting and pretty amazing to me how the quality of people's words, when I have trouble expressing that, sometimes I'm always very interested in how people go about that.
Yes. I'm reasonably comfortable talking to groups as well. So
oh yeah,
I don't
yeah.
have a problem with that. Yes, I've done them on. Besides these various groups, I've done them on cruises when they've had an entertainment evening and asked people from the passengers to come out and do things. So.
Oh, I bet that was fun, and I bet you had the crowd laughing.
Yes.
What would you say sets your book apart from other books?
Well, I think the fact that very often limericks are just the sole content of the book.
Yeah.
Whereas I've got half the book longer poems, and on quite serious topics. I mean, it's not all fun. Some are quite serious, and I hope one or two might be inspirational. I've done one about this very elderly Englishman. I don't know if you heard about him, Sir Tom Moore. He tried to raise some money for COVID research. He hoped to raise a couple of £1,000, and he walked up and down his garden day after day after day after day, and he used a walking frame or Zimmer frame to assist him, and he became a worldwide hero and raised millions. And the Queen knighted him, and unfortunately he caught the virus himself and died at 100. So I've done a poem about him. So it's not all fun, but some quite serious. Yes.
Yeah. And so who would you say your book would appeal to, and why?
I think it appeals to anyone who likes humour, particularly people who are not in any way prudish, because a lot of the subjects they get quite bawdy. So certainly, so there's no age I'd say no age restriction. It's not suitable for children, but no age restrictions for adults, certainly. So, yes.
Yeah. And the topics, again, like we talked about at the beginning, just a little bit of everything. And these are all things that, you know, we all deal with. So, David, I want to thank you for joining us today on the Books on Air podcast. Before we close out, what do you hope the readers learn or take away after reading your book?
I think obviously I want them to be amused, entertained, and perhaps also an increased tolerance for other people with different ideas and things that are not really general to the general population. Tolerance, I think, because there's no criticism in the book about anybody or their practices. It's all done in a very light-hearted manner. So, yes, I'd say tolerance.
Yeah, and that's definitely important. And David, I want to thank you for joining us. Like I said, it was fun to talk to you and hear your limericks. I can tell just the happiness as you're reading them and just how much joy you have. So thank you for bringing that to all of us today.
Well, it was a delight to speak to you, Sloan. So I did enjoy it. Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. And you can find more about the book, Naughty Nonsense, Lascivious Limericks, and much more on Amazon. And I'll link to the book in the show notes, so be sure to check that out. You've been listening to the Books on Air podcast, brought to you on webtalkradio.net. You can also hear this podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and Apple Podcasts. I'm Sloan Fremont, and I hope you'll join us for the next Books on Air podcast. Remember, you never know who's going to be here, and you never know what we're going to talk about. Thank you so much for listening.